What's going on, Reds? Welcome back to another episode of Liverpool Latest. My name is Matt, and I appreciate you being here with me for the 100th episode of the show. I want to thank FanArch for allowing me the opportunity to be a part of the team. I'm sure in the past, several people who have been on this journey give up after this period of time, and I am not one of those people, so I appreciate every bit of support that you guys give me, no matter how small it may be. Let's get down right to it, shall we? A lot of talk was going on after the game in regards to Mo Salah. As a matter of fact, it was the one thing yesterday that I mentioned but did not get into grave detail about, because I wanted to save it for today, the big episode. Here's my interpretation of it, and I kind of agree with a post I saw about it on Twitter. Mo's reaction is very weird because when he's laughing and he seems happy, or he seems like he has a happier look on his face, he's disappointed or pissed. And if he's clearly frustrated and upset, we know he's pissed. So there's really no telling just what the reaction of Mo Salah is. Here's what I say. Obviously, social media is going to have their opinions because everybody likes to put a narrative on something that may or may not necessarily be there. But let's also face the facts. Mo was garbage in that game. Cody Gakpo, who was subbed off with him, was also garbage in that game. You can't possibly tell me and defend either of those performances. And I am the biggest Mo Salah glazer in the history of Mo Salah glazers, okay? I am one of them. He's one of the whole reasons I'm a fan of this team. I love that man. He is a literal god to me. But all gods who are walking this planet are still mortals at the end of the day. And if you ask me, Mo's performance was worth a benching. Now, his reaction to the benching, who knows what the story behind that is, because all you could see is him laughing, and some people are taking it as him complaining about him getting sent off or not having more of a chance, or whatever the case may be. But here's the fact of the matter. When Gakpo and Mo got sent off, we got better. Rio came on and helped us out quite a bit. As a matter of fact, I'll touch on his performance in the next section. But we don't know what the deal was with Mo. We may never know, because clearly it was smart of him not to talk to the media after such a profound reaction to the benching. And honestly, it's probably a good thing, because then we might have a similar situation to what we had months ago, and I don't think anybody wants that. Here is a take I read earlier today involving Mo Salah from Rafael van der Vaart. That is one of the most hilarious names I have ever read. Van der Vaart. You put an F in front of that, that guy got bullied in school for sure. Here's his argument. And it basically boils down to as simple as it's time to move on from Mo Salah. It's time for Liverpool to move on from Mo. It's time for Mo to move on from Liverpool. His key argument is that he's lost basically half a yard of pace, which, to be honest, in this game I kind of agree with. Mo definitely looked like he was getting outpaced several times in the match, which allowed for our press to not fare as well as it could have. It also could be the result of, well, obviously it was the result of very good defense on Forest's side, but it also comes down to a player and his aging. Like I said, Mo Salah's 33, almost 34. You can say the same thing about Van Dijk, but Van Dijk is much more in a laid-back position where Mo actually has to run towards the net. So clearly, there's a slight physical decline, which isn't Van der Vaart's main point. As a matter of fact, it's a status. So he's highlighting that a player of Salah's stature becomes difficult to bench or rotate. And the meaning behind that, and this is where I actually kind of agree with him, is if the form dips, the media pressure is on the manager to make a decision. Should Mo stay on? Should Mo get sent off? Should Mo even play at all? If he's benched midway through the match, it becomes a dressing room narrative, much like it happened earlier this season. And if he starts every week, the flexibility and the tactical flexibility drops. So, what essentially we are in now is a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario for Arne Slot. Because does Slot play Mo every week and he gets outpaced more often than not right now and he doesn't produce the quality that we know him to produce? Or does somebody else step up and take that opportunity? Give him a start. Who knows? Does get a sub on? I mean, let's be fair. Stats don't lie. Mo's not having a great year. And again, I'm the biggest glazer of all time, but I also see reality. I'm not just going to sit here in fairy tale land. I wanted to early on in the season with the whole deal with him in the dressing room and that media interview. But right now, I just can't defend it. If he was to do something like that today or after this game, I would sit here and be like, okay, come on, bro. It's the same deal over again. So I essentially agree with Van der Vaart. It's time for Mo to move on. It's time for the club to move on from Mo. I would not be shocked. I'd be incredibly sad. I would be incredibly sad if Mo leaves at the end of the season. All right? Don't get me wrong. I would be very heartbroken. I love Mo. But at the same time, I think it's time. I think it is time, I should say. I just can't see him starting next season. I can't see him being on this team. I think there's still some animosity there. Well, I don't know if it's animosity or if there's still some disagreement with him and Slot. And clearly that's going to affect the dressing room at some point too, if it hasn't already. And we might as well put it out before it gets any worse than it possibly already is. That's all I have to say. So, I would like to know your thoughts down below. Feel free to tell me. Obviously, it's a very sad situation for me to talk about because, again, this is the reality of the situation, or at least my reality of how I'm interpreting it. And either way, it doesn't end well for me personally, but it is what it is. Let's talk about Slot's press conference. And the key thing, as you can see from the headline below, the biggest quote is, "We didn't play well." As a matter of fact, he even went as far as to say that that was probably the worst half of football we have played all season, which is saying a lot, because I have seen some bad first halves from us this season. We all have. So to say that this particular game is the worst of them all is saying a lot. As a matter of fact, here's some quotes that he had from the press conference itself, which I have pulled up here. "What I just said, that was the worst half we've played. But we defended our box really well, and that was the reason we were still on 0-0. Because as much as Forest were the better team and were forcing us to go back, we defended really well in the box, in my opinion," which is fair. We had a very good defense that game. It was falling apart constantly where they were creating chances, or at least the passing midfield from defense to midfield was falling apart constantly because they were constantly coming back into our third of the field. But they didn't score. So there's something about that. And honestly, if we had drew 0-0 yesterday, I wouldn't have complained a bit. I would have been pissed, but I wouldn't have complained because I would have been like, okay, we didn't lose, we didn't drop points, at least as bad as we could have. But this is one thing that some people say Slot prioritizes to his benefit, and that is performance standards over results. Clearly, given some of the words he said during the course of the match, he certainly was not happy with the performance we had. And like I said, outside of what he said just now, that it was the worst half of football, I can't imagine what other horrendous words he said in the locker room. But whatever happened, it was a mentality shift. There was certainly a mentality shift for sure, because there have been games where we have played well and lost or drew, and there have been games where we have played like absolute dog shit and somehow have won in the last second, like this one here against Forest. So, and we've even dominated games without winning, which has been the mentality Slot has had this entire time, where it's ball dominance and keeping the ball. What's the difference of keeping the ball if you don't score? That's always been my argument to that. But the fact that they survived as much as they did between the first half, horrendous first half that they had, a VAR disallowed goal, and a 97th minute last second godsend is a shock in itself, for sure. Slot also goes on to compliment Szoboszlai, where he basically waited to deliver the goal to the net, where eventually McAllister would score, instead of rushing and cross in the dying seconds, instead of rushing the cross in the dying seconds, he paused, he adjusted, and he delivered an accurate ball, which, as much as I don't like Szoboszlai right now in the right back position because it's not a natural fit for him, he did a very good job, and he always has been doing a very good job with his ball delivery. He is very, I hate to say it, but he's very Trent-esque when it comes to delivering balls from that position. He has some absolute gems that came out in that match, I will say. So, McAllister obviously had a statement game. Let's be honest. Reality speaking, he scored 2 times. The first time just wasn't allowed by VAR. And it goes to show that he is an absolute mentality monster. He should be a mentality example for younger players, as Slot framed in that press conference. But like I said yesterday, he's a pit bull. He is probably the pit bull of the team, if I'm being honest with you. Without his absolute do-or-die mentality, we don't win this game. That's the reality of the situation. So Slot complimenting McAllister was a very nice touch as well. Rio also got a couple of comments as well, which were huge. I mean, he's a 17-year-old player who hasn't played a lot of minutes, but clearly he's physically holding his own against, professionals, grown professionals who have been a part of the league much longer than he has. And but he also says that the talent he has isn't enough, and that mentality is key. Now, he's viewed as a long-term core piece, Rio, but at the same time, it's debated on whether or not he should be starting, and that is something I want to touch on tomorrow, because I have a few other things I'd like to touch on today. But I did see some stuff that Slot said that he's not ready to start, which I don't know if I agree with that at the moment, but we'll get into it tomorrow, for sure. He also compliments Van Dijk's leadership as well, for, being able to switch the angles of attack, and basically his efforts in getting everybody in place, was what helped us win the game in the first place, to get everybody in those positions. Luckily, he didn't touch the ball when it was allegedly almost offside, as VAR determined that was not the case. And it passed him to go to, I don't know who it went to originally, but whoever it ricocheted off of, McAllister obviously got the best of it that second time. So that's where we scored that huge goal. So Slot said a couple of good things in the match, about the match, said a couple of things that we don't already know ourselves. But at the end of the day, this was a very big mentality game for us, and I think that Slot's comments definitely echo that. Speaking of mentality, the women also won yesterday. Now, it's not something I got to touch on, but it was something I certainly intended to talk about, and that's what I'm going to do today. The Liverpool women's team scored 2 goals in the first half, with Mia Enderby in the 34th minute and Beta Olsen in the 45th minute, and basically it was great. I mean, they beat Everton. It was a FA Cup Merseyside derby, which was great because this win in particular is what is going to help us get to the finals of the FA Cup, which was honestly, I'm shocked because if you really think about it, considering the season the women have had, it's a godsend that they're even in this position in the first place. I know the women's Super League isn't as big as the men's Premier League, but the fact that Liverpool are now in a position to win a title for the FA Cup for women, considering the season that they're having, is very impressive to say the least. And it goes to show that their mentality is certainly shifting and how they've been having quite a bit of instant impact off the bench as well, with Olsen being replaced by Enderby in the 38th minute. Excuse me, Olsen replaced Enderby, I should say. So this and then she scored before the second half had ended. So not only did Enderby get the goal originally, Olsen scored not too long after subbing her off, which was very big impact as well. The only issue we probably have was Falk's mixed afternoon, where she had a very big save to deny Ima Gabaro and several confident claims under pressure, but unfortunately Everton's goal came at a very crucial misfortune as Aurora Ghali struck the post and the ball rebounded off Falk's back into the net. And that is why she did not get the clean sheet in that match, which is a shame, but hey, Everton didn't win, so I can't complain too much. The fact of the matter is, we won, they didn't. We control Merseyside once again, and they move on to the finals against Leicester for the FA Cup, which is a huge deal, like I said. So, very, very good outcome for the women. All around, good day for Liverpool on Sunday because of all these wins. I can't recall the time the women and the men played on the same day, and they won. So, it was a day of winners, if I say so myself. Thanks for watching episode 100 of Liverpool Latest. I appreciate you being here. Please leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel as well to never miss an upload, because we're going on to the next 100, baby. 200, that's the goal now. Whenever you join the channel, just know that you'll never walk alone at the same time. I'll see you guys on the next one.